Well, it's hard being a veterinarian. I don't know if I told you that. We're not supposed to be afraid of any animal, but I'm afraid of spiders because they creep you out. The way they move, they got hair and saliva, that's wrong. A bug shouldn't have hair on it. And now the pet stores are selling big spiders, wolf spiders and hobo spiders, big tarantulas. This guy came to our practice with this plastic shoebox, this giant spider. He goes, be really careful, he got out a year ago, he bit my room in the face and he had to have his head drained. I was like, get a phone book. But that's not a practice builder dropping a phone book on your patient. So you got to be nice, right? So I said, well, sir, what's wrong with him? He goes, he's just not himself. Oh, not his perky spider self? He called in late for work? No, he hasn't eaten in 7 weeks, and yesterday his leg fell off. I'm trying to think of something learned to tell this guy and get him the hell out of there, right? So I say, it's been my experience when the leg comes off, they're obviously ill. It sounded intelligent, didn't it? It sounded doctorly. So I remember the Museum of Natural History has old Dr. Lick, the spider expert. I said, go see Dr. Lick, the spider guy. He's going to help you. Guy leaves about an hour later. Lick calls me from the museum. Dr. Fitzgerald, Dr. Licht. I go, hey. He goes, did you send Mr. Montgomery over here with this big-ass spider? Yes. Did you tell him, in your opinion, when the leg came off, they were obviously ill? Yeah. If you had taken time to examine him, you'd seen he's in fact dead. I just didn't want to get my head drained, whatever that meant. Your head drained? A spider as a pet? That's not a good idea, right? Like they're selling black widows in the pet stores. You know why she's called the black widow? Because after the male performs his husband-like duties, the female eats him. Eats him, except sometimes. The male is hip. And he offers the female the food object. And while she's distracted, he performs his husband-like duties. And that's how Valentine's Day started. I made that part up. Spiders as pets. I just, it's hard being a veterinarian though. We are known as great lovers. I hate to tell you that. I had a blind date the other night, got her back to her place after the date. She said, tie me up, do what you do best. I tied her head to the bedboard and I neutered her beagle. Bet the last guy didn't do that. By Colorado law, it's illegal to own a big cat. You can't own a lion or a tiger. You can't own an ocelot, okay, or a panther, a mountain lion, leopard. And by law, I'm supposed to seize them and destroy them. But it varies state to state. And so, some places it's illegal. So this guy showed up about 6:30 in the morning, and he had an ocelot, a big cat from South America. And so that thing is grumpy and mean and trying to kill us. He's got a big mask on it like Hannibal Lecter. It's big, And I go, we're supposed to seize and destroy. What are you doing? And he had all the right permits. He was from Louisiana, right? And everything's legal in Louisiana, right? They get drive-through daiquiri stands. My God-given right to have a drive-through daiquiri, Dan. So I said, I'm supposed to, what's wrong with him? He goes, he can't keep anything down. And he's living on the 11th floor of an apartment building with an ocelot, right? He's living like a cliff dweller with this thing. What could go wrong here, right? So I said, oh man, you can't put him up on the table, So we put him up on the table. We wrapped him up in a tarp like a burrito, and we all laid on him. And I reached in and feel his belly under the tarp, and I thought I could feel something. So I rolled in the ultrasound, and there was a ball, and it was one of those super balls we had when we were little, and bounced. And took him to surgery, and took it out, and then I seized the cat from the guy, and I gave it to my classmate at the Denver Zoo, right? It seemed like a better thing than killing it. And I called up Animal Planet and United Airlines, and I said, if any babies are born, there's a little male, and this was a little male. They have a little female over there at the children's zoo. I said, if any babies are born, can we send them back to South America where they belong? They said, well, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. An animal control officer, a dog catcher that's a friend of mine, saw the thing come in, realized I wasn't going to destroy it, went to DIA and got a federally endangered animal agent and 4 cops, right? And so they come the next day and the guy goes, you have to tell us where that guy is and where that cat is. And I go, well, I'm from the 60s and I don't rat on people. And so I go, plus I got confidentiality like my priest. And he goes, you don't have confidentiality. The clergy does, lawyers do, doctors do, but you, my friend, have 3 felonies. Interfering with a federal investigation, 3 to 5 years, $50,000 fine. Surgery on a federally endangered animal, 3 to 5 years, $50,000 fine. And housing a federally endangered animal, 3 to 5 years, $50,000. And I go, I got confidentiality. I went right to jail. Jail is interesting. I'd seen a lot of prison movies, so I knew you had to make friends with a big guy. So I would sit next to this big fella. I go, what are you in for? And he goes, what are you in for? I said, I asked you first. And he goes, I robbed the 7-Eleven by Mile High Stadium. What are you in for? And I said, I did surgery on an ocelot.